Hello, Louis here from mindyourownrichness.com. This is the second video I'm posting about the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and I'll be sharing with you a summary of chapter 2, which contains the first of 13 steps you can follow to accumulate great riches according to the author. If you missed the introduction to this series, I have posted a link in the description below. Click that and you'll have access to the previous video as well as the article I wrote about it. The first step towards riches is desire. Let's see what the author means by that. We all have different kinds of desires. Maybe you want to earn more money, find a better job, start your own business, have more family time maybe, and the list goes on. So the question is not just about having a desire. Anyone pretty much can desire anything. The point Mr. Hill is trying to emphasize here is that a normal desire cannot bring riches or a change in your life. You need to have the kind of desire that Edwin C. Barnes had when he made a decision to become the business partner of Thomas Edison. The desire that Mr. Hill is talking about is something that has these four basic features. Number one, it's got to be definite and specific. Remember when Edwin C. Barnes went to meet Thomas Edison, he was not looking for a job of some sort. He was specifically there to tell the inventor that he had come to go into business with him. So you really need to find what is the unique desire you have, which will affect all part of your life the way you want. Number two, it's got to be a burning desire to win, not a simple wish or hope, because wishing and hoping alone is unlikely to get you moving towards your main goal. And anyway, most people desire a million things at a time, and their wishes change from day to day. So in this case, how could you expect to entertain one single wish and turn that into a burning desire? It's just difficult, right? Number three, it's gotta be a consuming obsession. Mr. Hill wants you to be obsessed by your desire. He doesn't want you to have in mind a plan B in case things don't work the way you want. This is the attitude Edwin C. Barnes had. He had no other options in case he failed to get what he wanted from Edison. He had to win or perish. And finally, number four, it's got to be the dominating dream of your life. All your energy, all your power, and all your effort must be directed towards that single desire. And you need to keep things this way until that dream of yours turns into a reality. So if you're wondering how you can grow that desire that strong, well, you will have to hold it in your mind for a while so it becomes the way you normally think. That is just how it works. Edwin C. Barnes did not become the partner of Edison the day he arrived. It took him some years, and he had that desire in mind all those years, despite his apparent circumstances. Talking about circumstances, you need to ignore whatever your present situation is, and you also need to ignore what people think about you. Just act the way you have to. Look again into what Edwin C. Barnes did. In his own mind, he was the partner of Edison from the very first day he went to work there. Of course, his co-workers were seeing him as just the floor sweeper, the guy who was doing work that was not important for Edison. But for himself, in his mind, he was a rich businessman, and that job was just a kind of stepping stone towards his big dream. In this first step, as you read, Napoleon Hill will give you more and more historical examples of well-known people who had crazy dreams. But the common thing is they all turn into reality, and most of them resulted into the technologies that make our lives easier today, such as automobiles, airplanes, skyscrapers, or even the wireless internet, you name it, right? Now, let's look into a basic formula for financial goals that is mentioned in this chapter. According to the author, there is a basic method by which a desire for riches can be transmuted into its financial equivalent. To use this method, you have to follow 6 points. Number one, choose a definite date when you desire to have the money in your pocket. Number two, fix in your mind the exact amount of money you want to acquire. Most people, when you ask them how much money they want, they will just tell you a lot of money. But a lot of is not a number. You need a number here in amounts of dollars or whatever. Number three, determine exactly what service you intend to provide in return for that money. So the money you planning to receive has to be in exchange for a service that you're providing to the industry, to the marketplace, or to the community. So if you're thinking about some other thing on how you're going to get that money, it's probably not a good idea. Number four, create a definite plan to carry out your desire and put it into action whether you're ready or not. Yes, don't start thinking, oh, I can't start because I don't have enough money, or I don't have the right connections, or my kids are in school, blah blah. There's all kinds of reasons that prevent people from taking action. Don't be one of them. Number five, write down a clear statement describing the amount you want, the service you will provide, the date you want that money, and your plan of action. So number five is basically writing down whatever you put from 1 to 4. And number six, read your written statement aloud twice a day, once in the morning when you wake up and once at night before going to bed. As you read, mentally visualize yourself being in business and getting paid for your services. I will even say take your vision one step further and see what you're doing with that money. Feel happy to have it. So a lot of emotion got to be involved in this process, and that is something we're going to learn in the next chapters. I know you think these instructions are ridiculous and they won't work, but remember that they came from Andrew Carnegie himself. He used them himself to raise a fortune of more than, what was the number again? $100,000 million. You see? And I think we should just be grateful that he was kind enough to share this method, and he's also sharing some other ways of getting rich that many of us don't really have time to investigate on our own. Next, what is or is not required to use this method? It is very important to understand that the accumulation of riches by this method does not require anyone to have a great amount of education, to work hard, and to make a sacrifice. What the method requires is, first of all, sufficient imagination. You need your imagination because you will have to see your future, and you need to bring creative solutions to the marketplace. So your imagination definitely will be challenged. Next, you need a lot of desiring and dreaming. Dreaming by itself could potentially attract strange looks towards you, but it's just the way it is. In the book, there's that story of Marconi. His friends took him into a mental hospital because he claimed that he could send messages through the air without any direct physical means of communication. It was a crazy idea back then, but today it is normal. So you should allow yourself to dream big. If you think what you want to do is right, then just go ahead and start doing it. And you can still make adjustment if you realize you're going the wrong way. It's better to start with what you have than being paralyzed because you are overthinking and trying to start from perfection, trying to please everyone, or trying maybe to conform to what society considers normal. Next, you're going to need a lot of planning because you need to put your dreams into action without waiting for a specific opportunity, right? Next, you need to have an open mind because you'll be facing sometimes new ideas flashing into your mind or you can come across friends who have ideas that can be useful in your project, and you might think about rejecting those ideas because they just seem unrealistic. So just be open minded with new ideas that may come your way. And finally, very important, be prepared for setbacks. Yes, you will face failure along the way, but remember that all those famous people also had failures, so you're not the first one. They didn't quit, and that is why they became successful. Every failure brings with it a seed of success. That's one of the quotes that I read into this chapter. You will see many examples of individuals who were forced by nature to go through tough times and misfortune. When they came out of the situations, they were totally different because it was an opportunity they had to kind of make a stop in their life 1 second and look deep into themselves to discover their genius in creativity for new ideas and some incredible imagination. So, as a matter of fact, failure is one of our business partners. Before we move on to the climax of this chapter, I invite you to read through the middle of this step one and get yourself familiar with the kind of mindset Mr. Hill is recommended to have with the use of this method. He basically wants you to act as the practical dreamers who were the pioneers of our civilization. They had big dreams, they worked to make those dreams come true, and here we are benefiting from them. And they made huge fortunes in the process. The power of desire can be astonishing. The author closes this chapter with the amazing story of his own son, Blair, who was born without ears. There was absolutely no opening in his skull to the brain for hearing capacity. Blair here was diagnosed to be deaf and mute for life. But Mr. Hill didn't give up on his son. Through persistent, continuous effort over a period of years, he was able to transplant into the child's mind his own desire to see the boy hear and speak normally. And he also put into the boy's mind the desire to turn his handicap into an asset. Blair had faith in his father, and that made Mr. Hill's job possible. At the end of the story, Blair was able to communicate. He was also inspired by his own story and went on making a great living in providing useful services to the deaf community. For me, this episode is a demonstration that a strong desire can overturn what you consider to be the realities of Mother Nature. How to apply this principle? We are now coming to the end of this video, but before you click away, I'd like to give you a chance to put step one into practice for yourself. Before you go to step two on faith, make your own financial goal card and follow the 6 points we covered in this section. Have that piece of paper in your pocket or at all times so you can look at it and read it over and over again throughout the day. Also remember to read it when you wake up and before you go to bed. I've placed here an example of my own. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I see you in the next video. Bye for now.